Hey everyone, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen. Love me, I know you do. Anyway, today I am joined by two really good friends. I'm joined by Nooble.
Hello.
And I'm joined, you know what, I can speak. I'm joined by Mope.
Hello.
Mope is a YouTuber and painter herself. You'll see a link in the description down below later after this video is posted, but you can find her by searching Riley Church or by searching for the Sixfold Foundry. So be sure to take a look at that. She paints some gorgeous models. In fact, she's actually painting me as a demon princess. Whatever. It's a demon.
That is the next video that will be happening, so be sure to come in and check that out as I finish modeling her, and then I will paint the model.
And I'm super excited about that, because it's me. Anyway, today we are talking about some of our favorite Black Library books. So which ones do we want to talk about? Let's start at 3 and work our way up with some honorable mentions thrown in there. Actually, let's start off with some honorable mentions. Like, what are books that you think are good but not in your top 3?
Okay, that's where I'm going to mention Fulgrim.
Whoa! Wow, I really thought you would mention Fulgrim right off the bat as number 1. But okay, do explain.
Well, I really like Fulgrim. I think it's a really good book. It's not one of my favorites, though, but it is about my favorite Primarch. Well, yeah, and it is fantastically written. It's one of the best Slaneshi books out. I really think, honestly, most of the Horus Heresy books are very well written. But Fulgrim in particular, I think, was a little above it, and it was just really good. It was honestly the first Horus Heresy book I read, too. But it's held up, even with me reading other ones. I don't put it in my top 3, though, although I love it. And yeah, we should talk about that one, too.
Oh, don't worry, that one's actually in my top 3.
Really? You loved that? Okay, well, I'll leave that alone, then.
We'll get to that one, okay? But
yeah, that's... Fulgrim by Graham McNeill is my honorable mention.
Oh. Graham McNeill is a very, very good writer. Nooble. Your honorable mention.
Carrion Throne.
Carrion Throne? Like, oh, really? Do tell.
I just started reading it. I really like it. It has a lot of good characters. Like, has one of my favorite characters from one of my favorite books. And it's the Custodian Naradaran.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's just really good because the characters in it actually goes into some manner of detail of Inquisition stuff as well, like how they are on Terra.
I actually did read Carrion Throne. I really liked it. I did like the bout between Inquisitors because their investigations actually crossed paths and they fought each other without realizing that it was another Inquisitorial acolyte.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And it did dive into that silly story written a couple of editions back about the Golden Throne actually making a deal with the Dark Eldar to try to fix it. The Carrion Throne actually addresses that, and it was just an assassination attempt.
I've never read that one, but I love Inquisition books, so honestly, after both of you recommend it, I'm probably going to go read it.
Yeah, it's definitely good.
Yeah.
Alright, so my honorable mention. Oh, I've read so many. So many people are going to be mad at me for this. I liked Guilliman. The Horus Heresy book, Guilliman. I actually have it in my other room. That is my honorable mention. And the reason it's my honorable mention is because it really gets into the mindset of the actual Primarch himself and doesn't just show you that, yeah, the Primarchs can murder Fays. It shows you that the Primarchs are actually more human than that, and they actually have tactics, feelings, as well as care about their men. Fulgrim did talk, say I'm talking about the better Primarch in this case, but Guilliman did actually keep track of even the things that he didn't like in his Legion, like the Destroyer squads and how they used radiation weapons, which is something that he eventually did outlaw. Well, it's not directly stated, but they stopped using them after the Codex Astartes was written. So, theory here, he stopped them. Go figure. But it did actually show you that though he was the Supreme Grand Master of the Ultramarines did have their own different takes on kind of societies within it, and different companies had different traditions. And the Destroyer Company was actually like one of my favorite things to read about, because you really got to read like how Guilliman disrespected them, how Guilliman didn't like them, and how he never really deployed them because he saw them as, well, a loss. Like, when you send them in, there is nothing left on the planet worth taking. It would take so many years for that planet to become useful after the radiation weapons. So it was actually it was one of those things. And at the end of the book, they do find this human civilization that Guilliman really respects. Like, he really wants to find out more about this human civilization, because one of the biggest things about the Black Library, the Black Crusade, it wasn't just Black Crusade. Oh my god, I'm confusing so many things right now. The Great Crusade was the unification of all the men in the Imperium and all of the humans in the Imperium to show their superiority over every other race and push everything else out. So Guilliman actually wanted to learn about ancient human civilizations. But then once he found out the secret of this human civilization, he actually looked at his own chapter, his own legion, and was like, this is the path that we are taking. I know that we are going to be nothing but warmongers, and I want to change this. It's what actually inspired the Codex Astartes, in my opinion. And it was a ridiculously good book because he talked like theoretical, this could happen, hypothetical, and practice. And it was really one of those things where he actually went back and forth with his captains, talked to them quite often, and in my opinion, it was a really, really decent book.
I actually haven't read it, because I'm not a big fan of Ultramarines, but I would believe it because all of those books are very well written. I might have to check it out in the future, especially after reading the first part of Dark Imperium, where that's told from, obviously, the whole book is Guilliman's perspective, because he's definitely a more interesting character than he's given credit sometimes.
Oh, and just so everybody knows, if you are asking questions, we are grabbing them, but if you ask Super Chat questions, which goes a long way to helping out the channel, yada yada yada, insert reasons why you should do it here, we will answer them right away, immediately. Or if you just want to show some support to the channel, go for it. Anyway, one of the things that I like about, and a lot of people hate me for this, because I actually like the Ultramarine books. They're usually well written. Usually. There's a lot that is really, really, really dumb. Like Crusade was garbage. That was so difficult to get through because I was so bored listening to it. I was just like, okay, I get it. They're Primaris Marines. Good job. You made Primaris Marines. Can we move on now? And like those books, but the 30K Ultramarine books, I really enjoy.
The first 40K books I actually read were Graham McNeil's 40K Ultramarine books, and it's like, yeah, they weren't bad. I don't know if he wrote the 30K ones.
I'm not sure. I could go and check, but because I have the book, but I'm not sure at this current moment.
Well, I think it's just a general rule that the 30K books tend to be better written than 40K books.
Oh, without a doubt, because 30K wasn't initially intended to sell models, where the 40K books are meant to sell models.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of that, do either of you have the first 3 Horus Heresy books in your top 3? Because if you don't, we definitely should honorably mention those.
That would be Horus Rises. Oh God, I know them.
False Gods, Galaxy in Flames.
Thank you. I've read all 3 of them. I will be honest. I don't like Horus as a character.
What? I love Horus as a character. I think he's fantastic. I think he's so relatable too.
I didn't. I did not like Horus. Like, everything about him just seemed silly.
What? I thought he was so relatable. How he like had command thrust onto it. He didn't really want it. He thought it should have gone to Sanguinius, but he had to do it, so he was doing his best. And he even like confided his insecurities to Loken. Oh my gosh, I thought it was so good.
Flight of the Eisenstein is ridiculously good.
I haven't read that one yet. I need to go ahead and read the next 2.
I don't know. Horus's downfall, like, seemed, and I know this is just because of the times, it seems too weak. He got stabbed by a basic demon weapon. Oops, sorry, there was a fly on my microphone that freaked me out.
It happens. I don't know. I can see it though because demon weapons, and I mean, you can. Honestly, I don't see that as being like a big deal because I'm not really looking at this like who's more powerful or whatever. I'm more into like I just love the character of him.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Horus does have a lot of character, so I will give him that.
If you don't like his character, then like yeah, I can see it. But I loved his character.
I actually liked Abaddon more. See, I'm one of those rare people in 40k. I like Abaddon, I like the Ultramarines, and to be honest, I didn't mind the Blood Ravens.
I don't know the Blood Ravens enough to comment. I do not, like, I don't really dislike or like Ultramarines. I'm kind of indifferent towards them. I think Gilliman is a more interesting Primarch than some, but he's not one of my favorites. But I really do love Horus. I don't like Abaddon either.
I love Abaddon.
I don't like him. He looks silly. His top knot is goofy.
Oh yes, the top knots in 40k are just silly. And the fact that they put them on Aloris Terminators made them even worse.
Oh gosh, and Abaddon is the king. He has the most goofy top knot of all.
Yep. I will admit to that. But, Nooble, what do you think of the Ultramarine Gilliman book? The Ultramarine Gilliman, the 30k Gilliman book.
I actually haven't read it. I haven't read many books. The only 30k book I've read is Master of Mankind.
Alright, so you're indifferent about that one. I highly suggest you read it.
I have to.
Yeah. Also, the books that I've mentioned so far can be, you can get them on audiobook through Black Library. They're not too expensive. I like them. Yeah. Alright, so let's move on to our top 3, starting at number 3. Mope, you first.
Alright, mine is Emperor's Mercy by Henry Zhao. And I'll go ahead and start off by saying Black Library no longer sells Henry Zhao's works, which is very sad. So if you want to read this book or get it, you're going to have to buy it online somewhere else secondhand, because there was some legal issues and Black Library cut him off. But Emperor's Mercy is a fantastic Inquisition novel. It takes place with an Ordo Hereticus Inquisitor. It has a couple of other very memorable characters in his retinue. If you've read Dan Abnett's Inquisitor novel, this one is much more action-based, where he's in combat zones doing stuff like that. They deal with constant fighting. There's investigation too. because it is Inquisition, but it's much more combat-based than what you would normally experience from it. And I'm not normally one for combat. I don't really like combat books. When I'm reading books with Space Marines, I tend to graze over the areas where it's just bolters. But in this one, I actually really loved it, even though it had a lot of combat. And I thought that would be worth mentioning because the author, Henry Zhao, he is a veteran. He's a veteran. And he wrote the combat fantastic, and I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
So I really recommend Emperor's Mercy, Ordo Hereticus Inquisitor. Very action-based, and it's really fantastic.
You know, it's actually funny because the book that I mentioned that I didn't like, Crusade, was all action, and I thought it was bad because of that. But Gilliman, it did have a lot of action in the background, but that wasn't the main focus of the book. The main focus of the book was actually based around, like, his observations of his legion and his future.
I could see that, and that's really generally how honestly, I normally feel the same way, where, like, I don't like combat at all in my books. Like, that's why I liked Fulgrim, for instance, so much, because Fulgrim did have combat that I contended, but the important parts of the book were not really about combat.
No, they weren't.
As for this one, there is a plot, it does go through, but yeah, normally I'm not one for action, so I think that in its own speaks for itself, that this is a Black Library book that's action-based, where I really liked it.
There you go. Alright, Nooble, your top 3. What is number 3 on your list?
I'd have to say Master Mankind by Andimsky Bowden.
Ooh, Master Mankind at number 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you probably know why. It's like it delves into, well, my favorite faction, the Adeptus Custodes, and talks about the Sisters of Silence as well, which is my second favorite faction. And it just the way it explores, like, the War in the Webway and all that, and, like, directly as well. It was all really, I really loved it. It was very well written, in my opinion, especially directly parts.
It was definitely well written. ADB does amazing work when it comes to the Black Library books. In fact, he can take the silliest of concepts and create a world around it that actually feels real. You get really immersed in his books and in his writing. And I gotta say, Master Mankind is my top 3 as well. It is my number 3.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Both of you put that as your number 3. It is really good.
The reason I put it at number 3. The Custodians, cool. The Sisters of Silence, awesome. But the coolest scene in that entire book is the Titan fight. When the Warhound is fighting a Reaver and the Warlord shows up and they are fighting. And it's 2v1.
It was fantastic. The conclusion of that book was a roller coaster. It was amazing.
Like, without going into spoilers on the ending, from Golden Light they came, let's just say that book, hands down, is one of the best written, and that is an entire combat book, by the way. And it is amazing, and I really, really enjoyed it. I hands down recommend that book. If there is any Horus Heresy book you are going to pick up, I suggest it to be that one first.
I thought it was fantastic as well. I really liked it. It was one of the first I read. My favorite part was Drakian and how he's inflation. I just thought it was cute because when they said that he's End of Empires, I was like, oh, he's inflation.
Yep. A lot of people didn't actually get that, or the fact that he was just a biblical reference.
Yeah, he is. That was another very interesting part. I don't want to spoil too much of that, but I guess it's very early on, so yeah, the fact that they gave away that the Emperor committed the first murder was very, very interesting.
Yeah. That was... Yeah. Like, also they didn't answer what god Dracnian serves.
He was undivided. He was in the battle scenes. He was jumping between all 4 hordes.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's one of the. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to spoil it?
No, like.
Okay.
The whole thing is that he is one of the most powerful undivided demons.
Right, because normally you don't even get undivided demons. He's pretty special.
I mean, Be'lakor is the only other one, and he's a joke.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure there are a few others that are unnamed because 40k is so huge, but yeah.
I honestly thought he was a minor chaos god. I'll be honest.
He was strong enough to be.
I mean, he went toe to toe with the Emperor.
Yeah, he's no joke.
Like, he's ridiculous. Okay, so number 2. Mope?
I am going to go ahead and say the Ravnor books that all are by Dan Abnett. That's Ravnor Return, and Ravnor Rogue. I consider it a single book because mine is just an omnibus. And these books are, oh my gosh, they're so good. Like, these are the books, before I read the Ravnor books, I was entirely a tabletop player and I couldn't care less about 40k as a setting. But they took me and showed me this setting, and oh my gosh, I recently re-listened to the audiobook of the first one, and they are so freaking fantastic. Some of the best books in Black Library. They are so good. Ravnor as a character is interesting.
Let's get a summary of the book really quickly. The books.
Okay, so there is an Ordo Xenos Inquisitor, and he is investigating some chaos infested substances that people are abusing on a certain hive planet, and the book goes pretty all over the place from there. It has a ton of interesting characters. The Inquisitor himself is fantastic. He's a little different, but his entire retinue is really amazing too. It even has some really good characters, like good women characters, I might add.
Those are rare. Those are extremely rare in 40k.
They're super rare. We've had discussions about it, and those are some of the only few that have come up in this series. And it's just, it goes all over the place. There's more than a few twists in all of them. Like, it's just some of the best writing around. If you've read any other of Dan Abnett's works, like, this is what I would say is his best work in 40k.
There we go. I actually still have them on my list of books to read, so I cannot comment on them, unfortunately. And I'm pretty sure Nooble can't as well. But guys, be sure to check these books out. I'm kind of actually more excited to read them, knowing that Mope thinks that they are good, because she thought Fulgrim was good, and these are pitted as better. So, I'm excited. So, Nooble, you're number 2?
I would have to say Watches the Throne of the Emperor's Legion by Chris Wright. Because, well, it's another book that explores the Custodes. But this time it's in 40k, and it also explores the Adeptus Terra, which I always wanted to see more of. And I really like how it goes into detail about how well the Adeptus Terra is in 40k, and how the Custodes and Sisters of Silence are.
Is that the book that actually calls back the sisterhood?
Yep.
And acknowledges that they are forgotten?
Yep. It even has a sisterhood character who's just... she hates that fact.
Yeah, I read that one. That one was actually really good.
Yeah, I love it. And actually, that book is the reason I actually respect Gilliman now.
Yeah, Gilliman's actual appearance in that book is, to be honest, caring.
Yeah.
Like, definitely, like, he just shows up out of nowhere and he's just, yeah.
Yeah. I did like how he showed up, though.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Mope, have you read that book yet?
No, I haven't.
Alright, you need
I'll
to
have
put
to
that
check it out. I will have to read it.
Sorry, taking a selfie during a stream. Anyway. My number 2 goes to Fulgrim. I, like Mope, absolutely adore Fulgrim. This is the special edition Fulgrim book. Actually, I think this is Fulgrim the Palatine Phoenix. But yeah, it's the Fulgrim book. It is beautiful. Its siding is glorious. Like, look at that. That is gorgeous. And the book itself is an absolute masterpiece. If you want to know more about the actual Slaanesh and not just the stupid memes, I highly suggest you take a look at the Fulgrim books. Like, well, first off, start with Fulgrim, then go to Reflection Cracked, and then, what was the third one? I always forget the third one.
The third of the Fulgrim books would be Angelus Terminatus.
Yeah. Fulgrim actually dives into the deeper character of the Primarchs themselves, and how, because of how strong they are, how easily they can be manipulated. The Chaos Gods make short work of each of the Primarchs that have fallen to Chaos, giving them the ultimate choice of would they do it. And Fulgrim, it explores doubt, and that is one of Fulgrim's biggest weaknesses, is that he doubts himself. And it was one of those really in-depth books that actually looked at him, and you got to see how Slaanesh actually corrupts from the inside out, until the final explosive cacophony that springs forth during an opera that is beautiful. And all of the background characters, like the artisan, the painter, everybody else, the fact that Fulgrim's soul gets trapped into a painting and then eventually brought back into the body. Then finally he bests the demon to become his perfect form, or at least the form that suits Slaanesh the best. Fulgrim is one of those characters that is, in my opinion, the most tragic character in all of 40k. In fact, if you like Berserk, there's a lot of references to it.
Oh my gosh. And in response to that, I have to say that Griffith did nothing wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
The same applies to Fulgrim.
And
Your Kingpin.
it's one of those books that you can read this not knowing anything about 40k. Nothing at all. The rest of the universe of 40k is not relevant. All it is an inner struggle. And I absolutely love it. It explored so many deep connections with the actual Primarch himself. You actually got to feel bad for Fulgrim. Now, if you're a guy and you read this, especially if you're a British guy and you're reading this, you're wrong. Like, you're going to think that Fulgrim is dumb. But if you actually understand human emotions and can communicate above a 3rd grade level, Fulgrim is amazing.
Oh my gosh, can we talk about the Performancer characters in it?
Oh my god, yes.
They were so fantastic. That was one of the things that got me into the book, because one of the things I was worried about going into reading, again, that was my first Horus Heresy book, is I was worried that it was going to be all about Space Marines, and that would have just bored me. But
the fact that it's a love triangle?
oh my gosh, it was fantastic. There was so much of that too, and it has, I don't want to spoil anything, but wow, that was it has such a tragic ending, which, a lot of you probably expect that, because it is Fulgrim, but
yeah,
goodness, it is really, really good.
And everybody in that book is on their path of perfection, and that is so cool to see. You have the opera singer, the painter, the sculptor, and then finally the warrior. And I loved every single bit of it.
Oh, it's fantastic. It goes in with, and you have all the Emperor's Children characters in there, of course. You have Lucius, you have...
You actually care for Lucius in the book.
I know, it's actually sad what happens to him.
Like, oh my god, I actually felt bad for him. Like, he kept screwing up, and then the person was like, No, mark your flesh for everything that you mess up. Make yourself learn from your mistakes, and the fact that Lucius is all scarred at the end of it.
It is really sad. There is some part of me that kind of likes to rag on him, though, because it's like, oh, you messed up your face because everyone kept making fun of you.
Yeah, but still, at the same time, it's more of a... It's actually a book that explores the id, the ego, and the superego.
You're right, it does. It's really good about that.
Yep, including Fulgrim and the Demon representing, well, the mask.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
It really does lean on a lot of stuff like that. Graham McNeil really is a fantastic author.
yeah, he definitely needs to keep writing Fulgrim books because, oh my god, that every character in that book, well, every Fulgrim in that book was amazing.
You're right.
But that's my number 2.
Oh
So,
my...
whoop, go ahead, Mo.
I was just gonna say, also the lair were very interesting.
Oh my god, I want to build a lair army. I actually looked into this quite a bit to turn each of my demonettes into lair or each of my chaos space marines into lair. It would just cost so much to do.
It would take so much time. Like, I've done armies where you have to convert every miniature, and like, oh my gosh, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah, then there's the paint job and all the green stuff, and
It just... You just end up biting off way more than you can chew, and you never get it done.
yeah, I think I'll actually eventually down the line make a lair detachment, but not a full-fledged army of them. Now,
I can see that. It would be interesting to have like a unit of them.
yeah, without a doubt. But now let's move on to number 1. Your
All right.
favorite book in 40K, and I'm totally cheating with this.
Oh?
Yeah, I kind of got a tie for number 1.
Okay, well, let's talk about it. What's your tie?
Well, we gotta build up to that one. You gotta go
Okay.
first.
Alright, I'll go first. And my first is a very good continuation of Fulgrim for your number 2, because my number 1 is Angel Exterminatus, which is the sequel to Fulgrim. There is a short story between them, The Reflection Cracked, but Angel the Exterminatus is the direct sequel to Fulgrim. Well, not, like I said, it is a sequel to Fulgrim, though. And it also takes place, it's not actually mostly about the Emperor's Children, it mostly takes place from Perturabo's perspective and the Iron Warrior's perspective,
Yep.
which is really interesting because Graham McNeil has also written a lot of Iron Warriors books. War Master Hanzu is one of his recurring characters, and I've read some of his Iron Warrior books, and they are really good. I liked them; they were fantastic. Again, Graham McNeil rarely puts out subpar work. He's really good, and then Angel Exterminatus is no different. And I think Angel Exterminatus it's my favorite 40K book. It's Fulgrim becoming the demon prince, and it's, oh my gosh, the entire ride is so amazing. The way he does it, yes, it is Perturabo and Fulgrim go to White Castle. It is so fantastic. You get to see, because I also like it because Fulgrim is pretty fallen to Slaanesh at this point, and you get to see how the Iron Warriors react to the now horribly depraved Emperor's Children. You get to see what the other legions, even another legion that's fighting for Horus, thinks of them and how far they've fallen. Especially Fulgrim himself, the level of that his vanity's gotten to. And there's also, if you like Ravenguard, there's a particularly interesting Ravenguard character in there who's actually a total awesome guy. He kicks a lot of butt, I'll say that. It's fantastic, and what really wins me over and makes it my number 1 are the final scenes between Fulgrim and Perturabo. And I'm not a huge fan of Perturabo's character, but I think Graham McNeil still wrote him perfectly in a way. Like, if you wanted to make that, like, bitter, begrudging guy who's mad because no one notices him, but at the same note, he is unnoticeable because he's kind of... it was so well done, where even though I'm not a big fan of Perturabo as the Primarch, I really liked reading his character, especially in this book. I thought it was fantastic. And then Graham McNeil has honestly won me over. I really do like the Iron Warriors too, so it was very interesting to see them. There were some characters that showed up that I'd read in his 40k books too, which was really cool because I like the fact that he throws in recurring characters. And again, the final scenes between Fulgrim and Perturabo before the ending that's just my favorite moment in 40k is when Fulgrim becomes the Demon Prince.
Yeah, there's little that can actually top that. So, Nooble, you're number one.
Well, earlier I lied about only having read one 30k book. I always forget this counts as 30k. The Last Church by Graham McNeil.
So, I'm pretty sure we all love Graham McNeil and ADB.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm going to throw Dan Abnett in there too, because Dan Abnett is amazing as well.
Yeah, I'd give it to Dan Abnett as well. Top 3 best authors. There we go. Got that out of the way for you too.
There you go.
But, yeah. I really like Last Church because it shows what the retaking of Earth was from the perspective of somebody who did not like it. Uriah Ulithair was not a fan of the Emperor, and he had gone everywhere and he saw all these places where the Emperor had taken over, and he had never really found anything they had beyond one place. And then he saw what happens to places that resist the Emperor, and that changes him. And it's so awesome. I love it, and especially like how the characters in it, Uriah and Revelation. Revelation's a really great character as well. The only thing I think could have made it better is if it switched to, I can't really say who without being a spoiler.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't really spoil too much, and I do apologize about this. But
I'm glad you aren't, because I still haven't read it, and you're making me very interested in it.
Oh,
I would highly recommend.
I might make that the next book I read, honestly.
I actually really did like Last Church. I felt it was a bit too preachy, but at the same time, I really did enjoy it. I do like the whole idea that the guy was looking at the War Mask, at the Emperor as just a murdering psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when you put it like that, I want to read it. Anything that villainizes the Emperor is good in my eyes.
Yeah. Okay, so my number one favorite 40k book, and this was handed to me after I mentioned this a while ago by a fan, Faith and Fire. And Red and Black. I love the Adeptus Sororitas, especially of the Order of Our Martyred Lady. So this book and its sequels and all of the Sister of Battle books that actually stars them and doesn't just murder them, I absolutely love. With 100% love them. Because it really dives deep into what the Sororitas actually are. And to be honest, I actually like the Sororitas better than the Space Marines. This is pretty obvious at this point, and I will give you the reason for this. The Space Marines have always been seen as the good guys no matter what. Like, they're just the good guys. They're gonna win because they're the action heroes. Especially in the more 40k setting where they just punch things to death and then eventually just strong-arm their way through it. The Adeptus Sororitas actually do the inquisitorial missions. They do the investigations. They do face things that that would scare Space Marines. They shall know no fear, my ass. But sisters prove themselves again and again to be a very powerful force, as well as very compelling because you actually worry about the character. The Sister of Battle isn't some superhuman. She isn't just going to be just come out of a nuclear blast unharmed, even though that would have killed her 1,000 times over. She has to face all of these challenges and actually overcome them using her wit and her bolter. And I ridiculously love the idea. I love the Sisters of Battle, Faith and Fire, Red and Black. But, like I said, I am cheating with this because my other number one is the Garrow series. I absolutely love Nathaniel Garrow. So, sorry, I cheated. I can't choose between the two because I love Garrow and I love Sisters. And lo and behold, look at my channel, the Sons of Garrow and Sisters of Battle.
I honestly really want to read Faith and Fire. I
highly suggest you start with Red and Black because you play both of you play Egosician. They are both heavily influenced by the Sisters of Battle books.
Really? I'm definitely gonna have to check them out then.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like, oh, you both have given me so many good books to go read now.
And I hope our audience has gotten quite a few good books, good suggestions as well. And speaking of the audience, Nubo, let's go over some questions. But Mope, continue your point.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know which one to pick now, either your number one or Nubo. I'm not a big fan of Garrow. I definitely read the first 3 Horus Heresy books going, saying, wow, Garrow, and, oh gosh, who was his Emperor's Children friend? What was that guy's name?
Oh god, I can't remember. I'm so bad at remembering names. Was it Rubio?
No, it was...
Why have female Space Marines when there are Sisters of Battle? I agree that their books do look interesting. The whole female Space Marine thing is just silly. If somebody wants to make an army and say they're female Space Marines, I'll kill it just the same as any other Space Marine army. If they do put female Astartes in the lore, I just hope they do it well. I just hope they don't overlook the actual female sister army that is quite amazing. You know, the Sisters of Silence, which, stated by Malcador, are the equivalent of Space Marines. And, especially if you read one of the books that Nubo mentioned, where they kill Space Marines quite easily. And I hope they don't skip over the Sisters of Battle. But anyway, Nubo, let's go over some questions.
Alrighty. I have a question. Isn't half of the Destroyer rad weapons like a couple... Oh, isn't the half-life of Destroyer rad weapons like a couple of hours, not years?
I'm not sure. The way Gilliman described it is the planet is uninhabitable for years afterwards. Soul Tarvis, thank you!
Yeah, that's the one. I was never a big fan of him and Garrow, but that shouldn't be surprising. I'm very much Chaos aligned.
Thank you.
Alright, next question.
Yep.
If you would write a 40k book, who or what will the subject be?
Oh, man. If I were to write a 40k book, it would probably try to explore... I would actually write a book about Gilliman's viewpoints on the Adeptus Sororitas, and whether or not he would or wouldn't keep them going, and if he would keep them going, whether or not he'd reinforce them the way he does with the Space Marines, i.e. giving them Primaris Marines. Would he then give the Sororitas, which is giving the Ecclesiarchy more power, would he resupply the Sororitas? I.e. give them like something equivalent to a Dreadnought, give them some heavy power armor, not Terminator armor, but heavy power armor, maybe even some type of Terminator armor, and some other things like that. It could be a very interesting book, because I would like to read some interactions between Celestine, who is a living, faithful demon, and Gilliman. I think a conversation between those two would be quite awesome.
It sounds really interesting because it'd be really political, but it'd be from the perspective of one guy, like the Primarch.
Yeah. Alright, Mope, what about you?
If I had to write one, it would be Ordo Hereticus Inquisitor investigating Slaaneshi cult turns into Slaaneshi warband. And I would have it be a continually escalating scale where it started small, but in the end it was a gigantic fleet battle between the Imperium and Chaos.
Ooh.
I love Chaos, and I love the Inquisition, so it's just where I would jump, and I would try to make the Inquisition, I would try to make it like spy-esque almost.
I like it. Oh, also Celestine isn't dead. She comes back in the latest book. Like, immediately.
Yeah, she kind of is immortal.
Well, it begs the question if she's perpetual.
Well, that would explain it, but I'm pretty sure we know that it's just the Emperor made a demon prince.
Yeah. Or a greater demon. I never know which one is stronger, a greater demon or a demon prince.
They rival because, like, for example, a standard greater demon would be stronger than a standard demon prince, but then you have demon princes like Fulgrim or any of the Primarch demon princes. And then I think there are some other demon princes that are stronger too. But then in contrast to that, you have demons like Zarachniel, who are way stronger than even a powerful demon prince. So they definitely vary in strength. It's greater demons or greater demons. But Celestine would be a demon prince because she was not originally a demon.
Yeah, that's true. Because she was human and then elevated. Okay.
Yes.
This one fly is bugging the crap out of me.
And then also to everyone in the comments, demon princes kind of are a category of greater demon.
Yeah, it's true. Alright, Nooble? Ooh, I know this one. You would want the story between a custodian and a twink.
No. Actually, what I would want is where the Space Wolves, at least a large group of them, actually fall to Khorne, because, well, what does Papa Grimnir have? Not Grimnir, crying out loud. Grimnar have. Yeah, it's a Khorne axe. An axe forged literally by Khorne himself.
Yeah, there was actually a Space Wolf story. Vremlace was telling me about this. But a Space Wolf story where Grimnar actually started taking skulls.
Yeah, he started doing that now. Because ever since he hit Magnus with that sword, it activated it, essentially. And it started affecting him, and I really want to see a story where they... Like, I would really want a story where they delve deeper into that and he actually falls to chaos. Maybe, just maybe, it might bring Russ back, and it might make the wolves good again.
Oh my gosh, that would be fantastic.
Make the wolves good again.
Yeah, make the wolves
Make the
good
wolf
again.
and Fenrica.
Could build up to the ultimate duel between Fulgrim and Leman Russ.
No, those two weren't really rivals.
No, but I do feel that they're the champions of their respective factions now.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
Gilliman and Fulgrim go toe to toe more often.
we know what happens when Gilliman fights Fulgrim, though.
Surprise high five.
Followed by him dying.
He didn't die, except that he did.
He so died. It was the Eldar necromancy that brought him back.
Well, actually, I think it was a symbiote suit, but yeah.
Yeah, split hairs.
Anyway. Alright, let's grab the next question.
What set of the Astartes do you think have the best written books overall, Chaos or Imperium?
Chaos.
Yeah, without a doubt, Chaos. There are like some Chaos books, but I'm thinking of
Black Legion.
specifically the. Oh god, they're so good.
Like, Black Legion. Done.
Fabius Bile books were so good too.
Yep.
The Lucius book wasn't amazing, but it was still better than a Loyalist book.
But yeah, I would definitely say that Chaos is written better than Imperial.
Next question.
Yep.
Have you read the Genevieve the Vampire books? If not, you should do so.
I actually don't like vampires. I think they're a stupid concept.
I'll check them out. I like vampires. I love blood angels.
I love vampire.
Nooble just likes things that suck.
No, I don't feel like Will. I'm gonna stop now because I know when this joke is gonna start again.
All right, that's a good question, and I want to stay monetized. Woo! Nooble, can you read that one really quickly?
Yep. Off topic. Just watched your mini wargaming video. Nice win, though. Nice win. Though you were very quiet. Of course, Quirk was being Quirk with some of the rules.
Yes, there was the whole he had one more attack than he should have, but a lot of people forget that we were just whatever. It's a fun game, and I took advantage of some dirty rules too, like the whole within versus wholly within rules. A lot of people actually got mad at me about that, saying that I couldn't deploy for my repressors on top of buildings and behind, even though I actually explained that. One of the things that Mini Wargaming does when they record is they tend to stop. They move on model stop, so there's no really extended dialogue between opponents. I've noticed this in a few of their other battle reports. This isn't bad. My battle reports, I tend to focus more on the banter. So next time I go up there, maybe I'll get some more banter, and maybe I will record. Who knows? I do want to get another couple of games in with Mini Wargaming prior to me leaving, and I do want to thank you for using the Super Chat feature. It really does go a long way to help supporting the channel. But yeah, it was a really fun game. Came down to turn 7, 2 models left, and an Imperial victory. Not the banana people. It came down to the true heroes of the Imperium, the sisters. Anyway.
Next question.
Next question.
Have you ever considered looking into some areas of Age of Sigmar or Black Library novels? Examples: Black Garden, Spear of Shadows, or City of Why is this so hard to read? City of Secrets.
Absolutely not. Age of Sigmar holds little to no interest to me.
I would consider checking it out. I mean, I've played Age of Sigmar a few times because I have demons, and like it's not terrible. I would have preferred to play Warhammer Fantasy, but if they can do good on the books, they're worth checking out.
I'm not interested in fantasy. Like, I know this is weird. I like sci-fi fantasy versus fantasy. So I like sci-fantasy better than fantasy.
See, I like fantasy better than sci-fi, but I do like Warhammer 40k more than Warhammer Fantasy.
Oh, without a doubt. Alright, next one.
Any audio dramas from Black Library that you like?
Almost all of them. Actually, there was a Caiaphas Cain one that I really enjoyed. It was actually kind of funny and really enjoyable. So I would check that one out for a quick audio drama, and any of the sister battle ones. Avoid the Space Wolf ones. They're all terrible, and I apologize, but they are just garbage.
Really, I was just about to say that I've never listened to a battle audio drama.
I have quite a few of them. I've listened to so many of them, but I tend to listen to books more than audio dramas. Audio dramas just seem too short. I did like Chosen of Karn. Chosen of Karn. I thought that was really good. Yeah. Alright, next one.
Cookie. What do you think of the Caiaphas Cain books? I love them so much for their kind of opposite of a normal commissar and Cain's sarcasm and why.
I actually really do like Caiaphas Cain because I feel like it's the writers just taking the piss out of 40k. Because he literally describes things like, there's a lictor, instead of going, there's this creature covered in or whatever that's like 9 foot tall and devours people by swallowing them, yada yada yada, too much detail on this creature. Caiaphas is just like, I killed a lictor. One of my other favorite things about the book is, this was in the audio drama, by the way, he's fighting a Dark Eldar witch, and he's actually sword fighting a Dark Eldar witch. Dark Eldar witches are incredibly fast, and he manages to block and parry most of her shots. And he's like, it's an Inquisitor doing errata on what he's saying, but at the same time, he's telling you the story from first-hand experience. So he's like, I blocked the second and third strike from this Eldar witch. Truth be told, I have no idea how I did it. And then the Inquisitor like chimes in, and she's just like, Caiaphas Cain is actually a very gifted swordsman. He's actually kind of cool. Can't stay long tonight, just popping in to send love. Oh, thank you. You're awesome. Severed head. It's good to know that dismembered body parts love me. I'm sorry, that got to me. That got to me.
It's kind of cute.
No, but I do like the Caiaphas Cain books. Alright, next one.
Alrighty. Have you ever read Mephiston, Blood of Sanguinius by Darius Hinks?
It is on my list. I have not gotten to it yet.
I've never read it, but I would always be willing to check out a Blood Angel book.
Blood Angel books are usually good.
Next question.
Of course.
I've been going on a spree of trying to find out everything about the Blood Pact. How much would you recommend the Blood Pact book by Dan Abnett?
That's Dan Abnett, so it's pretty good. Like, I haven't read it personally, so yeah. I got nothing, Bob. Save me.
For which one?
I forgot.
Dan Abnett is a fantastic author.
There we go. We're good. Next question. Let's move on before we look dumb.
Dante versus Abaddon?
As much as I like Dante as a character, Dante is, well, he doesn't have Dracnian.
That is really fair. Dracnian is... We've already been talking about how powerful Dracnian is.
Yeah. And not for nothing, Abaddon is kind of a monster.
I mean, Dante is the most heroic human to have ever lived. But...
Right.
But Abaddon is, you know, blessed by all 4 Chaos Gods. And I hate to say this, but yeah, the Chaos Gods are... They would definitely be more powerful than that.
And I
Heroism can only take you so far.
And I mean, Horus was bested by Abaddon. Like, and before anybody else says, oh, well, it's actually because he was severely weakened and yada 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 because of the background, blah blah blah. No, I talked to the writers. It was literally a duel between those two. Yeah. Noble, do you want to read that one?
Yep. Hey, just want to thank you for suggestions on my Blood Angel army a few months ago. Now I have all the assault squads, and now have why is it hard for me to read numbers? 5,500 points worth. 500 points worth. Thank you very much.
You know, there have been so many Blood Angel players that contact me, and it's making me feel so insecure because I don't own, like, I have 10 Assault Marines, and I really want to play Blood Angels.
Oh, I love Blood Angels. I just wish I could get mine assembled.
I really want to get some Bengals, but I want to, they'll of course be painted up as Sons of Garrow, but I'll just run them as Blood Angels, because that's what I do. I paint them in my own color scheme and then just run a Codex.
Fair enough. I love having mine now, the way they're going to actually be painted up as the chapter.
Yeah, you know, I'm jealous. Like, I am actually jealous.
I can't wait to get it done. It's going to be probably one of my next painting projects, too, once I get them all assembled, where I'm just going to airbrush them all red and then start doing it.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
I'll get all the chapter heraldry right.
Alright, look, now you're just rubbing it in. And you know you're rubbing it in, too.
It's really cool to do that stuff, but I also get where it's like fun to make your own chapter, because my Chaos Warband is my own design. Like, I didn't do Emperor's Children.
Just letting everybody know, me and Mope always like mess with each other. It's a lot of fun and we love each other. It is great. She is a great person and fantastic, and she's just amazing. I love her. But
I love you too, Alexis.
But your blood angels are a butt. They're butt angels.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm really jealous of the fact that you actually have a sister battle army, because I can't bring myself to pay the money for them.
I don't want to look at my checking account for the amount of money that I spent on them.
I mean, I own Fiends of Slanesh now, so...
Yeah, you know the pain.
No.
Anyway, next question.
Do any books cover how most Chaos Forces supply themselves besides from stealing from Imperial forces? Do they have refineries for fuel factories?
Actually, you should read Black Legion. They talk about that. They actually talk about how they have Mechanicum outposts, Dark Mechanicum outposts, that actually still produce all of this stuff, and they are safe zones, essentially, where there's non-combatant zones that resupply, and usually they do raids and things like that to get as much materials as possible, slaves, and they actually, like, Space Marines do know how to make ammunition. They do know how to manufacture bolters. It's... Go ahead.
A starship is a really big place. Like, there's a lot of areas on there to manufacture stuff.
Mm-hmm. So just keep that in mind. Like, they do make their own stuff. But in Black Legion, they do talk about actual manufactorums that do supply the legions with all of this stuff. In fact, it was actually protected, I believe, by the Emperor's children. So, that's cool.
Everybody loves the Emperor's children.
Yeah, except for the Black Legion.
Except for a lot of people.
Yeah, except for every other Legion.
Pretty much.
What's your favorite 40K book cover?
Book cover? Oh.
Yep.
Actually, I know this is going to be stupid and super predictable, but the Sister of Battle Codex 7th edition, the digital one, and or the White Dwarf one from the edition prior, because they shared the same thing, and it's the classic sister pointing her bolter with the sister with a heavy bolter behind her and another sister next to her. It looks awesome.
I could see that.
What about you, Mope?
Oh gosh, there's so many to pick from. I'm thinking of a lot of the Codex artwork, and it all looks pretty dopey. The one that really gets me, though, is the cover they did for Blood Gorgon, which is another by Henry Zala that they won't talk about because of the legal stuff he got into, but they've been using that as the cover of the Chaos Space Marine Codex for 3 editions now.
Yeah.
That one is fantastic, but honestly, I really think it has to go to the cover of the Ravnar Omnibus, because I really like the simplistic, like, duality. It's just black and silver, and I really like it.
There you guys go. Oh, and Nuba, what about yours?
Abyssin Master of Mankind.
Yep, predictable.
It's a good one, though.
It is. It's really good artwork.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love the way the Emperor's armor looks, as well as the custodian, and just everything about it. Especially the Impossible City in the background.
Yes. Alright, next question.
What's your review of Boylan's animation of Hellsreed?
I will admit I haven't watched all of it yet. So yeah, I still need to watch it. I don't think you guys have seen it, have you?
No, I have not.
Okay,
I've
so,
seen it. Oh, yeah, okay.
so I think me and Mope need to sit down and actually watch it one day.
Yeah, we should do that.
It's really good. Actually, I think they have it all compiled into one thing.
Well, there we go.
We'll get on that.
Is it weird I dislike? Science fantasy, but like 40k?
No, because 40k is an immense universe that has a little bit of everything in it. So regardless if there are things in it that you don't like, there's more than likely a few things in it that you do like.
Yeah, I would agree to that. It is a very, very big universe, and even if it's like, oh, you don't like this particular faction, I bet there's the flavor of them that fits your fancy.
Yep. Alright, next question.
So far this is the last question. Have you read? Yeah. Have you read Eye of Medusa by David Geimer? As someone who doesn't like the Iron Hands, it's really interesting how it dives into politics between the chapter and the canon.
I have not.
I haven't either, so I'll definitely have to put that on the list and try to check it out.
There we go. So, it looks like we've caught up on all of the questions, and I think we're at a good ending point for this video. We're at 106 minutes, oh my god. We're at 1 hour and 6 minutes at this current time. So, I hope this guys, I could speak, I promise. I hope this has inspired you guys to check out some of the 40k books that we have listed here. And by 40k books, I mean Black Library books. In the future, we will probably be doing a Patreon exclusive video explaining our favorite authors and why. And our favorite codexes. So stay tuned to that. I will keep you guys informed that Patreon is getting exclusive videos, most of which are going to be silly and kind of funny and a little bit off, you know. And there's going to be Egoqueen on there, as well as some of my older modeling pictures. But anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Ransom Rambles. And I want to thank Mope. Please check out her channel. Link will be in the description down below once this video goes live. Well, not live, but once this video is... yeah, you know what I mean. And I want to thank Nooble for once again grabbing all of the questions for me. He is a doll, and I love him. Anyway, guys, I am Alexis the Ego Queen. I love you guys. Bye.